The scripture says the former temple. And the former temple, they knew that this project was built by Solomon himself. They knew that Solomon was the construction worker, if you will, from God himself. And they knew that Solomon, being known as the wisest man on this planet, listen, in their minds, listen, we no longer have Solomon, therefore we cannot construct a temple as beautiful and as grand as what was in the former days. Listen, there is a voice that echoes in our heads. There's a voice that echoes in our heads that sees the goodness of the past, the freedom of the past, and says, you can never be in that position again. You can never attain and have that again. And listen, some of us, this voice is actually the voice of condemnation, because once we were close to God, once we had a relationship with Jesus, once we loved and we were willing to do anything for Christ, but we fell into sin. And as we fell into sin, no longer did we feel that closeness anymore. No longer do we feel that Jesus is with us. No longer do we have the same burdens. Now there is a distance which has been created. There's almost a rift. There's a gulf between us and God because of our sin. No longer do we feel like Jesus is by our sides anymore because of our sin. Even people here with secret sin. It creates a gulf, a distance. Therefore, the good times of back then, I can never be the same as how I was free and have peace as I did before. Because back then, David was known as the beloved and the greatest king of Israel. God even said, listen, there's no man like David. But yet we can see that David stayed at home for battle and he falls into sin. He sleeps with Bathsheba, whom is not his wife. He commits adultery. And we can all see within the scriptures and within the text that this mighty man of God changed into someone completely different. There was a shift. Why? Because sin entered into his life. Therefore, a distance and a gulf being created. He even said, my bones grow old, because he concealed sin within his heart and within his life. Therefore, sin, we know, remember Adam and Eve, disobedience, they disobeyed God, sin came into this world. Therefore, a separation, a distance was created between God and Adam and Eve. Sin only distances us from God. Can someone say amen? It only pushes us away. You've fallen into sin, you can feel the distance between you and God. And now the whispers within our mind